Hello, snowboarders of the internet. I'm your host, Avran LeFeber, and in this video, we'll be reviewing the new 2022 Jones Ultra Flagship. Ultra, the stiff one. The stiff one. This board features Jones's directional cam rocker, so you get more rocker in the nose, camber through the midsection, rocker in the tail. This is going to give that spring and load of traditional camber underfoot, while you're going to get that ease of entry in and out of turns from the rocker, as well as more optimal powder float. This board is available in 158, 161, 162 wide, 164, and 165 wide. I rode this board at Arapahoe Basin on an overcast graybird day with heavy snow falling. There was about 4 to 6 inches of heavy wet snow on top of just frozen chunder, crust, corduroy. And I rode it with my Rome Black Label bindings and my K2 Thraxis boots. Clearly this board has a full directional freeride flex. It is on the stiffer side. That should be known. It is the Ultra Flagship, which means it's the stiffer of the two when you compare it to the regular Flagship. What that means is ever so slightly softer nose. Right where it hits the camber zone, back through the tail, it just progressively gets stiffer. There's a little bit of torsional flex, but not an overabundance that really lets you twist the board when you're ankle steering. And that does mean that you do get some chatter out in the nose just with it having more rocker, but it pretty much dissipates by the time you hit that front foot. And overall, this board is very stable. One of the things that makes it stable are these new power plates that they added to the sidewall. This just dissipates those micro vibrations, and it changes the big flex points for when you get into rutted out terrain where you feel those body jarring hits. So it moves it to inside the front foot, inside the back foot, and just outside on the tail. The nose, for the most part, it seems to dissipate everything just with that camber section and that rocker. This is a board that'll plow through chunder, it'll plow through crap. It stays on top of things when you get into rutted out terrain. You don't really have to worry about it getting knocked around. As this is the Ultra Flagship, it takes more to load up that camber section. You just really feel like putting your weight down into it to try to activate that rocker section on the tail to create a springboard. And when you do, it's still not the snappiest board out there. It's got more than enough pop to get it done, but it's not mind-blowing. It's more like you've loaded it up, you're gonna snap off whatever's in front of you, and you're gonna send it as far or as high as you can. But it's still not going to be one of these boards where you're like, oh shit, I gotta ollie up over this land, pop again, go here, I'm gonna send it to the moon. It's just not that type of board. So with the nose having an immense rocker and being slightly softer, it does give you a platform to lock into for pow butters, or if you're just like swiveling and sizzling on a run and you wanna just spin around. You do need to get your weight way out over it to engage that rocker, and you basically end up sitting in this section of the board just to flex it and stay locked in. It does have fight. You will notice that it wants to pop back out, and that's due in part to the camber section. Now with the tail, you want to go a little faster, do some tail wheelies. You can sit on the tail and get sideways if you absolutely need to, but it is a lot more work than you probably want to put in. It does get the job done at the end of the day. This board is a blast to turn on. You notice that right away. With the 3D shaping in the nose, it takes away some of the effort to get it on edge, but it gives you more precision as it brings back the steering to just outside the front foot. So you roll in with a fluid, nimble motion, then it engages outside the front foot, and that allows you to steer it into the turn, and then you drive it from inside the front foot back through the tail. So you get this nice section of the board that stays locked in, and this board will lay it over on edge. You want to lay a Eurocarve, just go right ahead. Do not hesitate at all. Just load that tail up, spring right back out. Short, quick turns, not a problem. Medium, mellow carves, not a problem. Basically, this thing wants to turn in all conditions. It's nice like that. You don't really have to worry about it. Like I said, it steers outside that front foot, and what's nice is you have those power plates right underfoot, and that helps when you are trying to steer more underfoot. It just dissipates any of those vibrations you get on edge, especially in really rough or rutted out terrain. So who's this board for? The pure freeride guy that wants a board that can handle all types of terrain. Overall, I really like this version of the Flagship. It's got a little bit more precision, but it's not out to kill you. It's not one of those free ride boards where you gotta manhandle it the whole time. You can be a little bit laid back with this thing, which is surprising because in generations past, I felt you had to stay on top of it. This one, you could be a little more laid back. That 3D shaping in the nose with that directional cam rocker does give this thing optimal float. I had no problem in the heavy snow that I was in. It got right up on top of it. It planed perfectly well. And then when I would sink through and hit that ice underneath, the edge would kick in and lock in. Overall, it's not actually like as stiff as the old ones were, but it's still powerful where you need it and gives you that precision where you want it, but you don't have to be on top of it with your A game at all times. Comparable boards: the Nitro Super Team, the Capita Black Snowboard of Death, the Ride Berserker. Binding recommendations: the Jones Apollo, the Ride A10, the Union Atlas. This has been my review of the new 2022 Jones Ultra Flagship. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you own one? Are you going to buy one? Leave me a comment down below. Let's have a conversation about this snowboard. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for all you snowboarders of the internet. And if you really like what we're doing over here and you want us to grow out further, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. As always, I've been your host, Avran LeFeber, and I'll see you in another video.